Control players unite.
Hey Control Nation, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dr. Red. Today we're going to talk about a control archetype that hasn't gotten too much attention lately. It's Ditto from Pokemon Go. It has the ability Sudden Transformation. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile, except for Pokemon with a rule box. You still need the necessary energy to use each attack. There are so many possibilities in which you can use Ditto. I'm going to go over 3 color box kinds of ideas with you, and also, first of all, some overarching base ideas you might include no matter which build you want to use, whether it's color based or otherwise. You have Emolga with Lucky Find. Search your deck for an item card, reveal it, put it into your hand. Also has a free retreat if you can't get it into the discard. You have Regieleki with Electromagnetic Sonar. Put a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand. You have Rotom with Junk Hunt. Put an item card from your discard pile into your hand. You have Togedemaru with Electrifying Chant, 30 base damage, and if you have exactly 1 prize card remaining, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Wattrel with Devastating Wind. Your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws 4 cards. There's also Mawile with Tempting Trap. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. You have Sandshrew with Sandscreen. Trainer cards in your opponent's discard pile cannot be put into their deck by an effect of their item or supporter cards. You have Zubat with Revealing Echo, although it's an ability, so you can't put it in the discard and use it with Ditto. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you have your opponent reveal their hand. You have Jirachi with Stellar Veil, also an ability. Prevent all damage counters from being placed on your bench Pokemon by effects of attacks used by your opponent's basic Pokemon. You have Tatsugiri with Survival Strategy. Search your deck for 2 cards, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck, and you may switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. So with that being said, you might consider using those in one of these more specific builds. You have Bouffalant with Lost Headbutt. Put an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon in Lost Zone, so that's energy control. Fan Rotom with Fan Call. Once during your first turn only, you can search your deck for up to 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them, put them into your hand. You have Lechonk with Repelling Odor. Switch out your opponent's active with the bench, though your opponent chooses a new active, so that's Gust Control. Lickitung is bench control. With Tongue Pull, your opponent reveals their hand. Put 2 basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. Oranguru, interesting attack. Primate Acting. Choose a supporter card from your opponent's discard. Use the effect of that card as the effect of this attack. That's any number of control style variants. Porygon is Deck Manipulation. With Branch Calculation, look at the top 4 cards of either player's deck, put them back in any order. Spinda is 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, and the active is now confused. And we're back to the beginning. So now we have Psychic style build. You have Chimecho for a DTE. Switch in one of your opponent's benched Pokemon of your choosing into the active spot, and the new active Pokemon is now asleep. You have Cleffa, Grasping Jaw. Draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. Diancie with Princess's Curtain prevents your opponent from using boss's orders on any of your benched basic Pokemon, like Ditto. You have Drowsy with Forced Sleep. Your opponent chooses one of their benched Pokemon, puts it in their active spot, and it is now asleep. Jinx has Alluring Dance for a DTE. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon into their active spot, and the new active Pokemon is now confused. Klefki has the ability Mischievous Lock. As long as it's in play, your basic Pokemon have no abilities except for Mischievous Lock. It also has Joust. You can get rid of all Pokemon tools attached to your opponent's active. Mawile, again, with Tempting Trap. Mewtwo with Reflective Barrier. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, you put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the number done to this Pokemon. So you could have an instant KO on something like, say, Giratina doing 280 to you. Ralts with Memory Skip. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon cannot use that attack. And back to Chimecho. Next, we have a Water build. Stewie and Basket Legion, gather the crew. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, and then shuffle your deck. You have Iron Bundle with Hyper Blower ability. If this Pokemon's on your bench, you can switch out your opponent's active to the bench, but then you discard this Pokemon. You can also use Refrigerated Steam, which is almost never used at all. For 80 base damage, you can make it so that if the defending Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. Manaphy has Pulling Currents. Your opponent reveals their hand, put up the 2 basic Pokemon you find there onto their bench. Mantine, Born Ashore, put a basic Pokemon from the player's discard pile onto that player's bench. Fion, or Fione. Beckon puts a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. Slowpoke gets back an item card from your discard pile. Totodile is your retreat lock as well. And that is the water typing. Also, it's worth noting, ladies and gentlemen, that Ditto is extremely flexible with all of the major engines for control, or even sometimes aggressive, like Pidgeot EX. You have the quick search ability, searching your deck for any one card, putting it into your hand. You have Fira with Beat Catch, search your deck for up to 3 cards, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck. It also has Free Retreat. And you also have Noctowl with Jewel Seeker. Once during your turn, you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon. If you have a Terra Pokemon in play, you can search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You could easily get Ultra Ball to go fetch a basic or get rid of a basic, and then also use Professor's Research to get rid of said basic that you search for. There really are a lot of possibilities with Ditto. These and many more. I'm going to put this base list, let's put this one. Yeah, this base list and all the others into the description. So thank you for watching, everybody. Please take care of yourselves, and may God bless you.